Welcome back to pregame.tv. I'm your host, Marco D'Angelo, joined with Ken Thomson here, SportsX Radio, breaking down Sunday baseball. This one's going to be Ken's play, and we're going to be taking a look at Washington at St. Louis. I got to tell you, Ken, Washington Nationals, I thought they were going to run away with the NL East this year. 2 years ago, they were phenomenal. We know what happened with the end of the season with them shutting down Strasburg, missing the playoffs. And hindsight, that probably was not the wisest choice for them because last year they didn't even make the playoffs. But they're back this year. I thought they would be stronger than they were. Started slow. But lo and behold, right now, they're playing their best baseball of the season. They're getting great pitching. They're starting to score runs, and they've won 8 of their last 10 games.
Yeah, and they're getting healthy now. We're taping Thursday, and the game just ended. They lost to the Giants today, but still on fire. That's still 10 of their last 13. And in a weak AL East, or NL East, I should say, in a weak NL East, that'll get it done. The Mets are not going to be a player. Trust me, I'm a Mets fan. I know that. Philly. I actually made some money on Cole Hamels getting a break last night. Got a 3-run walk-off homer last night to beat the Padres 3-0, and got another win today. Just go against the Padres. That's one of my things.
The Padres right now cannot score runs at all.
Go against the Rays and the Padres. Although Chuck, with his man crush Eric Bedard, took care of business with Tampa yesterday. But it's really hard to bet on the Padres and the Rays because neither one of those teams score. Can't bet on those teams because they're very frustrating. Now, Houston was one of those teams for me as well. But lo and behold, since these two young kids, Springer and Singleton, have come up, I mean, not that they're hitting great for average, but just kind of the excitement there. And Houston's playing great ball. So
they are, and they're still underpriced because the public still thinks is Houston. And we talked about it Monday on your radio show. It takes a long time for public perception to change on a really bad team and a really good team. When a really good team starts to go bad, people still believe in them.
Or a really good guy like Verlander.
Exactly. That's next. We bring him up. He has been just Johnny Detroit tweeted out a stat. If you had bet Verlander, I think the last 2 seasons blindly bet against him for a nickel a game, you'd have made like $12,000. Because he's always overpriced, and especially this year, I don't know how they're warranting the numbers they're putting up on him because he is just not getting it done.
Yeah, I had the Sox last night, and I just said, wow, you're going to give me a plus 130, 135, whatever it was, and in U.S. Cellular, no less, and Detroit, all of a sudden, they're not hitting, so all of a sudden you've got a race in the AL Central. But in this game, Washington, when you look at the NL East, Atlanta was there for a while. Miami's been the surprise. So you do have a 3-team race, but we all expect Miami to probably slide back a little bit. And it'll be a 2-team race, Washington, Atlanta. But I expect Washington, to take care of business. Still waiting on Bryce Harper right around the corner. But again, they were banged up. Jason Worth looks like my brother-in-law, Zach Wilde, with the beard running around out there. But he's a lot of fun to watch. I like Worth a lot. They've got some players. And again, the pitching staff is pretty solid as well.
Yeah, you've got a guy going on the mound, Doug Fister going in this one on Sunday. Speaking of the Tigers, do you think the Tigers wish they still had Doug Fister in that rotation because they elected not to pay him the money? He goes free agent, and yeah, he started the season on the DL, but since he's come back, I think this might be his 6th start or so since coming off the DL. He's been phenomenal.
On base percentage, only .267 against him.
Yeah, he's getting stronger in each game. So, you know what? We've danced all around this one. This is your free pick. I kind of think I know where you're going, but let's make it official.
All right. All right, and I tip my hat there on Washington. I do like Washington. Now, St. Louis, we know the Cardinals. They're always in the mix, and, they'll hang around 500 for a while, and they'll make that one run and then another run. Next thing you look, they're 18 games over 500 in the thick of it in the NL Central. But again, Marco and I talked about it early in the year. They never replaced Carlos Beltran, and that was a pretty significant bat to replace and now do without. So the Cardinal lineup, again, sometimes you get some production, sometimes not, and the pitching's got to be spot on, and sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. Garcia, he's been getting run support, but his ERA is over 4, so I'm looking to go against him. He's got a 4.26 ERA. He is 2-0. He does have 26 Ks, 3 walks, which is a nice ratio there. Carpenter, Molina, 2 pretty good guys as far as average, under 300, but right around there, 294 and 292 respectively. Johnny Peralta's got 10 home runs, but only hitting 229. Matt Holliday, he's gotten some key hits, but still only 4 home runs for Matt Holliday. You need more production than that. So I'm going to look at Washington. Like Marco said, again, coming into today, and they lost the day game to the Giants, but they had taken the first few over there at AT&T Park. This team's starting to click. Again, 10 of their last 13 now, and prior to this game today against the Giants, where they only had 1 run, I think, but they were really hitting the ball well, scoring better than 5.5 runs a game over that 12-game span. So looking at Washington taking care of business. Again, Pfister 5-1, a 2.68 ERA, and as good as Garcia's ratio with strikeouts to walks, 26-3. Pfister's a little bit better, 31 strikeouts to 3 walks. So keeping guys off the base, no free passes, and again, the way Washington's getting timely hitting, starting to click. You can see the chemistry. They get Bryce Harper back. They need Desmond to pick it up a little bit more average-wise. He's done that. He's up to 239, but he was way down around 200 for a while. Need Espinosa to pick it up as well. Rest of the team pretty good, pretty solid. And again, I think this Washington team's dangerous. And if you can find a nice future on them, I think this team definitely has the potential to go to the World Series and represent the National League. So I like Washington over St. Louis. Again, I think you're going to get probably around a pick-em price in this one with Garcia going against Pfister. So I'll take my shot. Maybe a little bit of a favorite on the road with Pfister because he is that hot, but I can't see him minus more than 115 on the road.
Yeah, great spot. And one thing to say about the loss today with Washington on San Francisco, that was the 4th game of a 4-game series. It is so hard to sweep a good team at home, but when you make it a 4-game series, it's tough. And that's why I did have San Francisco. I told you right before we went on air, that was my betting first look play today. Get this out, write this down. I'm going to give you another stat you want, and I know you'll be using it next time.
You're darn right.
Hudson was on the mound for San Francisco today.
Okay.
Over the last 2 seasons, that was now his 16th straight time that he has pitched at home, and the Giants have put up a W. When he goes, his team 16-0 now, the last 2 seasons at home. Just a blind stat with him. They got the job done 7-1. It's not like, they're winning games. If you look, I think the opposition in those 16 games are averaging under 3 runs per game over that 16-game sample size. Pretty good stuff on Hudson.
Yeah, it's good stuff for San Francisco getting Hudson, too. It's a nice pickup.
So, great guy for him when he goes. Mark that one down. And that's the thing. We give you free picks here. He give you watch. But if you take notes, we give you little tidbits that you can save for yourself when you're doing your own handicap and write these down and watch for the great spots like that. And you got a cheaper price today because Washington won the first 3 games of the series.
Let me ask you something real quick, because baseball now, we're 65 games in. Future-wise, like I'm saying, I think Washington has some value. I really think they're a team that's going to be right there for the National League. You see them coming around. Who do you like as far as a team future-wise that you may be able to make some money on?
I definitely agree with you on Washington. I thought Washington was the team coming in that I thought had the best shot. San Francisco has surprised me how good they've played this year.
How about the Dodgers, how bad they've played?
Yeah, that's the thing. I liked San Francisco coming in, but you looked at the Dodger pitching staff and you said, how can the Dodgers not run away with this? Because there was a lot of question marks. Baumgartner's pitching out of his mind. Matt Cain can be very good or very bad. We've seen both of him. Timmy Lynchcomb, same way. Lynchcomb's pitched better at home than he has on the road. He's another guy that's got that home-road dichotomy, but he was an X factor coming in because we didn't know what we were going to expect out of him. He's not the Timmy that we saw several years ago, but yet we've seen flashes of him. So the way he's pitching, the way Baumgartner's pitching, and Matt Cain, if he can get his head straight, and Vogelsong, he's up and down, and you can't really bank on him. But what I like about the Giants this year is in teams past, you don't have to win games 3-2 with the Giants anymore. They can score runs. And I think they're probably the San Francisco Giants and Washington, when it's all said and done, the 2 most complete teams in the National League.
Do the Dodgers make the playoffs in your guesstimation?
The Dodgers are going to make the playoffs either as a wild, probably as the wild card, because I just think the National League Central, they're going to, down the stretch, I think the 4 teams, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Milwaukee, and St. Louis, are going to beat one another enough. They're going to split because they're all pretty even, in my opinion. St. Louis, if they're healthy, is the best team of the crop there, but they're not as good. I do not think St. Louis is as good as they were last year. So I think that, it's going to hurt. Last year you had the wild card coming out of, both teams out of the National League Central. I don't think that'll happen this year. It's going to come from one of the other divisions.
I got a feeling Cincinnati, if they can stay healthy, will pass St. Louis this year. I just think the loss of Beltran is key. And if you can get Votto and Bruce and all these other guys and Hamilton to get on base and Phillips to pick up his average, I love Mesoraco in there. I think Cincinnati's got a chance to not only get up there past St. Louis, but possibly catch Milwaukee.
Well, watching what Matt Latos does, if he comes back and he, has, his good stuff, this is something they definitely need because they do have a good pitching staff. You start with Johnny Cueto, then you got Cingrani that's, this is a left-hander that at times looks brilliant. This is a guy, but he'll throw that clunker in there for you every now and then. But I like his stuff. And then, you throw Latos in there. This is a team, and you can have a decent staff here. And then if you can get to that ninth inning, Chapman shuts it down. Ask the Tigers how important a closer is because, they're in trouble when they get to the late innings. The Mets have been, you got to close your eyes when the bullpen comes in. And we've said it before. I've done it on a couple of radio shows, and I think we did it in a video and said, if you're going to bet the Mets, I would look at the Mets. If you like them in the game, first five innings, I think, are the way to go with the Mets. If you're betting against the Mets, you want to take it for the full game.
Good call. That's good stuff.
All right. There it is. He's Ken Thomson. I'm Marco D'Angelo. That wraps up the actual picks for the weekend. We got one more video. We've been trying to slide some football videos in there. We don't want Fezzik hogging up all the football videos on the site. So we're going to come right back and take a look at the Seattle Seahawks season win total. I've got a play on that up next, pregame.tv.